Good evening, sustainability champions, and welcome to the July edition of the WastePro Global Alliance monthly webinar. For years, Africa has paid a heavy economic and environmental price for relying on fossil fuels. But tonight, we are not here to dwell on the damage. We are here to map out the way forward. Our theme tonight is Renewable Energy for Africa's Future, powering sustainability beyond fossil fuels. I am Progress Ofuje Momoh, your moderator for tonight's session. And to help us unpack the exact steps for this green transition, we brought back a globally recognized scholar. If you were with us on the 5th of June for World Environment Day, you already know the absolute masterclass this man delivers. He set the bar incredibly high during his last session, and tonight we are not expecting anything less. He is a distinguished professor of environmental and petroleum chemistry at Obafemi Awolowo University, ranked among the top 2% of scientists globally, and also a resource officer for the Federal Ministry of Environment. Let's not waste another minute. If you can hear me loud and clear, please flood the chat with your favorite emojis as we welcome back to our virtual stage the esteemed Professor Festus Mayowa Adebiyi. Professor Festus, please share with us today's message. Okay, I'm coming. Let me confirm if it's there. All right, Professor Festus.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Momoh. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone here present, depending on where you reside presently. I sincerely welcome every one of you to this webinar. The theme of this webinar is circular economy, while the topic is renewable energy for Africa's future, powering sustainability beyond fossil fuel. For a start, for the sake of introduction, what is economy? Economy is the system through which a country or region produces, distributes, exchanges, and consumes goods and services to satisfy the needs and wants of people. Perhaps you have heard the saying, one man's trash is another's treasure. But in reality, most of the trash produced today may remain trash for everyone. About 80% of consumer goods are incinerated or held up in landfills because there is no way to reuse, to recycle, or remanufacture their components. Out of the remaining 20% of products, only about 5% of their value may be recaptured. Meanwhile, it takes about 1.5 years to regenerate these resources that humans use in a single year. The treasure to trash economy, known as linear economy, is clearly unsustainable, unlike the circular economy, which is a popular framework that ensures that treasure never becomes trash by using and reusing resources for as long as possible. This will closely mimic the Earth's regenerative processes, helping restore nature and promote the sustainable use of the resources it provides. The transition to a circular economy has become one of the most important strategies for achieving sustainable development in the 21st centuries. Unlike the traditional linear economy, which follows the pattern of take, make, and dispose, a circular economy provides efficient use of resources by reducing waste, reusing materials, recycling products, and regenerating natural systems. Within this framework, renewable energy plays a vital role by providing clean, sustainable, and inexhaustible resources or sources of power that support economic growth while minimizing environmental degradation. I'm happy to let us know that Africa is richly endowed with abundant resources energy, renewable energy resources, including solar, wind, hydropower, geothermal, and biomass energy. Despite this enormous potential, many African countries still depend heavily on fossil fuels such as coal, crude oil, and natural gas for electricity generation and industrial activities. This depends This dependence contributes to greenhouse gases, climate change, air pollution, and environmental pollution, while millions of Africans continue to experience limited access to reliable energy, electricity energy. The theme, circular economy, emphasizes the need for sustainable system and maximizing resource efficiency and minimize environmental impact. In line with this theme, which is renewable energy for Africa's future, powering sustainability beyond fossil fuel, highlights the importance of transitioning from finite fossil fuel resources to clean and renewable energy sources. Such a transition will not only reduce carbon emission, but also improve energy security, create employment and other opportunities, promote innovation, stimulate economic growth, and enhance the quality of life across the African continent. As Africa's population and energy demands continue to grow, investing in renewable energy offers a practical pathway towards achieving sustainable development goals, protecting the environment, and building resilient economies. By embracing renewable energy within a circular economy, Africa can transform its abundant natural resources into long-term prosperity while ensuring the future generation inherits a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable continent. Before I dive into circular economy or this presentation squarely, let's talk about Africa's economy. Africa's economic history. Africa has a long and diverse economic history that stretches from prehistoric times to the present. This diverse economic history can be divided into several major periods. Before European colonization, many African societies had thriving economies based on agriculture, trade, mining, fishing, and craftsmanship. Over time, Africa's economy was influenced by the slave trade, colonialism, independence, globalization, and technological development. The first stage is pre-colonial period, which is before the 15th century. During this time, most Africans depended on agriculture, fishing, hunting, and animal rearing. Trade was common within and between kingdoms. Major trade routes included the Trans-Sahara trade, which connected West Africa with North Africa, and the Indian Ocean trade along East Africa. Important exports then included gold, salt, ivory kola nuts, cloth, and spices. The second stage, which is slave trade period, and that was between 15th and 19th century. The transatlantic slave trade greatly affected Africa's economy. Millions of Africans were taken from the continent, reducing the available workforce. Many local industries and agricultural activities reduced drastically. Some African rulers and merchants benefited from trading with Europeans, but the continent as a whole suffered long-term economic damage. Colonial period, that was late 19th century to 1960s. During this time, European countries colonized most of the African countries. Colonial government developed railways, roads, and ports, mainly to export raw materials from Africa. African economies focused on producing cash crops such as cocoa, coffee, cotton, palm oil, tea, and rubber, as well as minerals like gold, diamonds, copper, and tin. Manufacturing was limited because colonies were expected to supply raw materials to Europe. The fourth period, which is post-independent period, that was 1960s to 1990s. After independence, African countries aimed at building stronger economy. Many governments invested in education, industries, and infrastructure. However, several countries faced challenges such as political instability and military coups, high foreign debt, falling prices for exported raw materials, corruption, and management poor economic management. These problems slowed down economic growth in many countries. The fifth period, that's modern period, between 2000s and present time. During this time, many African economies have experienced growth through improvements in agriculture, mining, manufacturing, telecommunication, tourism, and financial services. The growth of mobile banking technology startups and digital services has created new opportunities. The African Continental Free Trade Area aims to increase trade among African countries. But unfortunately, unemployment, poverty, inflation, climate change, and things of such still persist in Africa. What are the importance of Africa's economy? It creates employment opportunity, generates incomes for governments, improves living standards, promotes trade with other countries. African economies has evolved from traditional farming and trades to a more diverse economy that includes agriculture, mining, manufacturing, tourism, and technology. The impacts of energy on the economic growth of Africa. Energy plays a vital role in the economy of Africa. It powers homes, industry, businesses, hospitals, transportation system. A reliable energy supply increases productivity, creates jobs, and improves the standard of living. Positive impacts of energy on Africa economic growth include industrial development, job creation, agricultural development, improved transportation, growth of small and medium enterprises, SMS, SMEs, attraction of foreign investment, and the seventh one, technological advancement. It improves healthcare and education, increase in government revenue, and 10, higher standard of living. The negative impacts of poor energy supply, most especially electricity, frequent power outage, reduce industrial production, high electricity costs, discourages businesses and investors. Unreliable energy leads to unemployment and slower economic growth. Dependence on fossil fuels contributes to environmental pollution and climate change. Many rural communities still lack access to electricity and thus limiting development. What are the ways to improve energy for Africa economic growth? Invest in renewable energy such as solar, wind, and hydropower. Expand electricity generation and distribution networks. Encourage private sector investment in the energy sector. Improve maintenance of power infrastructure. Reduce corruption and improve energy sector management. Before circular economy, we have linear economy. And what is linear economy? A linear economy is a traditional economic model based on the take, make, and dispose approach. Linear economy, raw materials are extracted from nature. They are used to manufacture products, sold to customers, and then discarded as waste after use. If you look at these three diagrams, A and B represent linear economy, while C represents a job site. For A, you can see that resources are taken, used to manufacture some products, the waste are disposed. B follow the same trend, and the waste end up in job sites. What are the characteristics of a linear economy? This includes it relies heavily on finite natural resources. It produces large amount of waste. Products are often designed for short-term use. Limited recycling, repair, or reuse. The advantages include simple and easy to implement, support rapid industrial production, often has lower short-term production costs. The disadvantages include it depletes natural resources, increases pollution and landfill waste. It contributes to climate change. It's not sustainable in the long run. Examples are many, but here we have recycling of plastic. We have plastic waste from used, from used plastic. These are the dump site for plastic that comprises of plastic waste. Circular economy. A circular economy is an economic model designed to eliminate waste and pollution, keep products and materials in use for as long as possible, and generate natural systems. The circular economy is a new model of production and consumption that is aimed at generating sustainable growth over time. Its goal is to optimize resources, reduce consumption of raw materials, and give new life to waste through recycling and reuse. The circular economy is inspired by nature, seeking to close the life cycle of products and avoid unnecessary waste. It serves as a regenerative alternative to the traditional take, make, and waste linear economy. Thus, instead of the traditional take, make, and waste model, where items are made, used, and thrown away, a circular economy continuously repairs, reduces, and recycles resources to extract maximum values. One of the best known examples of the circular economy is recycling plastics. Instead of throwing away bottles, packaging, and other plastic products after use, they can be collected and processed to convert them into raw materials to manufacture new products, such as clothes, furniture, and even other packaging. The diagram here represents a packaging of used plastic. How the circular economy works in practice. Instead of throwing items away, the circular model relies on biological and technical cycle. The biological cycle includes here biodegradable materials are returned to the earth safely through composting or anaerobic digestion. The technical cycle, in technical cycle, manufactured materials and components are recovered, repaired, upgraded, recycled, and reused. This brings us to the 5 R's of circular economy. Here, the model is heavily built on reducing consumption, rethink by challenging current habits and system design, reusing existing items, recycling raw materials, and recover. The 5 principles are often broken down as follows. Reuse. One, reuse, minimizing waste and pollution before they are created. This involves eco-design preventing planned obsolescence and manufacturing products with longer lifespans using less energy and material. Two, rethink. It means challenge current habits and systems design. Ask whether a product is strictly necessary or if they are more sustainable, circular way to achieve same result. For reuse, extending the functional lifespans of products and components. The fourth one, which is recycling. Here, natural capital is protected and restored rather than extracted and degraded. That is, at very end of product's life, its raw materials are extracted and repurposed to create entirely new items. The last one here, items can no longer be reused or recycled. Why is circular economic matters? Transitioning from linear model to a circular economy has many benefits. These include provision, it provides massive economic and environmental benefits. It decouples economic growth from the depletion of finite natural resources. The Sustainability Management School rule notes that this systemic shift will unlock trillions in economic value. It can significantly cut global green gas emissions tied to manufacturing and food production. It also opened the door to new business opportunities. In an increasingly sustainability conscious business environment, adopting a circular economy model significantly improve brand image. It translates into competitive advantage for companies. The two diagrams represent this circular economy. The waste hierarchy is a way to understand the value of resources. Circular economy aims at keeping material as close to the top of the waste hierarchy for as long as possible. If you look at the first diagram, circular economy encompasses recycle, encompasses make, choose, reuse, repair, and recycle. And the second diagram depicts that if you look at the bottommost part of the triangle, you see that limited materials are disposed, are used as waste. Now, back to fossil fuels. What are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are natural energy resources formed from the remains of ancient plants and animals that are buried under layers of rock and sediment millions of years ago. Heat and pressure over a long time transform these remains into fuels. The three major types of fossil fuels include coal, which is a solid fuel mainly used to generate electricity, and in some industries, such as steel production. Then we have crude oil, a liquid fuel refined into products such as petrol or gasoline, diesel, kerosene, and aviation fuels. And the third one is natural gas. It's a gaseous fuel used for cooking, heating, electricity generation, and industrial processes. Uses of fossil fuel can use it for electricity, can use it to power engines, and so on and so forth. Advantages of fossil fuel include it produces large amount of energy, it is reliable and available throughout the year, easy to transport and store, support many industries and economic activities. Disadvantages of fossil fuel are many. They are not they are not renewable, meaning that they will eventually run out. When burnt, they release carbon dioxide, which contributes to global warming and climate change. They can cause air pollution, water pollution. They can even lead to health and environmental problems. Main fossil fuel deposits found in Africa. These include these are the three main fossil fuels found across Africa. And the three fossil fuels, the three major fossil fuels are found in Africa. The three major fossil fuels, which have aforementioned, like crude oil, natural gas, and coal. Crude oil are found in Libya, Nigeria, Algeria, Angola, Egypt, and other countries. Natural gas, we have natural gas in Nigeria, Algeria, Mozambique, Egypt, Tanzania, Libya, Angola. While coal is majorly found in South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. It has been established that Libya is Africa's largest producer of crude oil, while Nigeria is the largest producer and exporter of natural gas, while Botswana is the largest producer of coal reserve. Here is a summary of major fossil fuel types and estimated reserve in African countries. Like I've said before, Libya is the largest producer of crude oil, which it has about 48 billion barrels, while Nigeria has the largest deposit of natural gas with about 209 trillion cubic feet, while Botswana has the largest coal in Africa, the largest coal deposit in Africa. Now let's move to renewable energy. Renewable energy is energy obtained from natural resources that are replenished continuously or within a short period of time. Unlike fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas, renewable energy sources do not run out with use and generally produce much less pollution and greenhouse gas emission. Type of renewable energy include solar energy, which is obtained from the sun. Then we have wind energy, produced by the movement of the air. And these pictures represent solar panel and wind farm. Then the third one is hydroelectric energy or hydropower. It is generated from flowing or falling water or dams and rivers are commonly used. You can use it to generate electricity and can be used for irrigation support. Then the fourth one is biomass energy, which is produced from organic materials such as wood, crop residues, animal waste, and municipal waste. It can be burnt directly or converted into biogas or biodiesels or biofuels. Can be used for cooking and can also generate fuel for vehicles. Can also generate it for industrial use. And this picture, the first picture, represents hydropower, while the second one represents biomass sources of biomass energy. Then we have geothermal energy, which is obtained from heat stored beneath the Earth's surface. Hot water and steam from underground are used to generate electricity or provide heating. It can be used to generate electricity and can be also used to heat buildings. We have ocean energy, which is derived from the movement and heat of the oceans. These include tidal energy, wave energy. It can be used to generate electricity. Merits of renewable energy. It is environmental friendlier, sustainable, and inexhaustible. It reduces dependence on fossil fuels. It lowers operating costs. It creates employment and opportunities. Creates employment opportunities. It improves public health by reducing soil, air, and water pollution. It enhances energy access. It reduces greenhouse gas emission, thereby helping limiting global warming. It promotes economic growth. While there's no cloud without gold, there's no gold without cloud lining. It has its own challenges, which include some sources, such as solar and wind, are intermittent and depend on weather conditions. Initial installation is very costly. Energy storage and grid upgrades are often needed to ensure reliable power. Energy storage can be expensive. Not all regions have equal access to every renewable energy source. Large-scale projects can have environmental or land use impact. This table shows current level of usage of renewable energy in African countries. For example, we have a country as Ethiopia. The estimated renewable electricity share is over 95%. Then the main renewable sources include hydropower, wind, and solar. One of the current status, one of the Africa's leading renewable energy producer. For the sake of time, the table shows other estimated renewable electricity share, main renewable sources, and current status. The overall renewable energy used in Africa. This is the summary of the overall renewable energy used in Africa. Renewable energy accounts for about 24% of Africa electricity generation overall. Africa added more than 11 gigawatts of new renewable energy capacity in 2025, bringing the continent's total renewable energy capacity to about 82 gigawatts. Despite having the world's richest solar resources, solar power contributes less than 4% of Africa electricity generation, showing there is still enormous room for growth. So country leading renewable energy adoption in Africa, we have Ethiopia, Kenya, Zambia, Uganda, Mozambique, and others. These countries are leading because of significant investment in hydropower, geothermal, solar, and wind energy. The limitations of renewable energy in Africa are many. These include high initial cost, inadequate infrastructure, intermittent energy supply, limited energy storage, dependence on weather and climate, lack of technical skills, limited manufacturing capacity, limited access to finance, land and environmental issues, weak maintenance culture, political insecurity. This table indicates projected usage of renewable energy in Africa by year 2050. By 2050, renewable energy is expected to become the dominant source of electricity in Africa, although the exact share will depend on investment, government policies, technology, and economic growth. Most international organizations project that 70 to 90% of Africa's electricity could come from renewable energy under strong clean energy transition scenarios. So the renewable energy, the estimated share of renewable electricity and main regions. Then we have solar panel, which is about 45 to 60. The main region includes North, Southern, East, and West Africa. Hydropower, 50 to 25. And the main regions that can showcase that are Central, East, and Southern Africa, and so on. Expected growth timeline. By year 2030, estimated renewable share of electricity is expected to be 40 to 50%, while by 2040, it's expected to be between 55 to 70%, and by year 250, it is expected to be 70 to 90%. Projected installed renewable capacity by year 2050. According to long-term African energy transition scenario, installed electricity generation capacity will be about 1,090 gigawatts. Solar power will be about 548 gigawatts. Wind will be about 314. Hydropower will be about 180 and 108 gigawatts. Other renewable energy like geothermal, biomass, and others will be about 81 gigawatts. Fossil fuel and nuclear combined will be about 42 gigawatts, implying that about 90, more than 90% will be from renewable energy. And the chart illustrates the expected growth trend in renewable energy used across Africa towards 2050. By 2025, the projected renewable energy share of Africa electricity was between 25 to 30. By 2030, 40 to 50. 2040, 55 to 70. By year 2050, to be around 70 to 90. Factors that drive this growth. Africa has about 60% of the world-best solar resources. The falling cost of solar panel, wind turbines, and battery storage. Others include rapid population and electricity demand growth, increasing investment from governments and international organizations, as well as the expansion of mini-grids and off-grid solar systems in rural areas. Concluding remark. In conclusion, renewable energy represents one of Africa's greatest opportunities to achieve sustainable development while advancing the principles of a circular economy. By reducing dependence on fossil fuels and investing in clean energy sources, such as solar, wind, hydropower, geothermal, and biomass, African nations can promote environmental conservation, create employment opportunities, strengthen energy security, and drive inclusive economic growth. The transition to renewable energy is not merely an environmental necessity, but a strategic pathway towards a resilient, prosperous, and self-reliant continent. Through strong government policies, regional collaborations, technological innovation, and active participation from the private sector and local communities, Africa can harness abundant renewable resources to power a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable future for present and future generations. Recommendations to achieve the vision of renewable energy for African future, powering sustainability beyond fossil fuel within the framework of a circular economy. The following recommendations are proposed. One, increase investment in renewable energy projects through public-private partnership and international climate financing. Two, develop clear and consistent energy policies that encourage private sector participation and long-term investment. Expand electricity access in rural communities by promoting off-grid and mini-grid renewable energy systems. Strengthening research, innovation, and local manufacturing. Five, improve energy infrastructure, including modern transmission and distribution networks, efficiently and efficiently integrate renewable power. Six, promote education and public awareness on the environmental and economic benefits of renewable energy and the circular economy. Seven, support regional collaboration among African countries to share technology, expertise, and renewable energy resources. Provide incentives such as tax relief, subsidies, and low interest loan for individuals and businesses adopting renewable energy technologies. Number nine, invest in skill development by training engineers, technicians, and entrepreneurs in renewable energy technologies and maintenance, etc. Final recommendation, Africa's transition to renewable energy should be treated as a strategic priority for sustainable development. By embracing circular economy principles, investing in clean energy technologies, strengthening policies, and fostering regional cooperations, the continent can achieve energy security, protect the environment, create and protect the environment, create millions of green jobs, and build a resilient economy that benefits both present and future generations. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Professor Adebiyi, for that brilliant session. We are indeed learning from a distinguished scholar. Thank you so much. I learned a lot from that. And you have completely moved this conversation from theory straight into practical action. Well, to the audience, if you know you have learned something tonight, or if you need clarity on the necessary steps to take, here is your time. We are officially opening the floor for questions and answers. Please drop your questions in the comment section right now. Well, Professor, while our audience is typing, I would love to kick things off with my first question. So, looking at how much we rely on fossil fuels for our economy, won't leaving these methods behind destroy current jobs? And how long do we have to make this transition without hurting our people?
Well, it will not lead to losing of employment or losing job. It will even create more. So, because there are more than four sources of renewable energy. If we have specialists in this area, it will create even more job than losing jobs when fossil fuels are depleted or when they are not used again, when they are deused.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Adebiyi, for breaking that down. Well, we have a lot of questions, and I'll be starting with the first one, aside mine, which is from John Abdullahi. He's asking, Professor, how can we practically convert everyday city waste into biomass energy to solve both our power and waste management issues at the same time?
Yes, it's a very good question. I have a similar work that one of my PhD students is working on now. We have a packed bed reactor, which is locally fabricated, that can pyrolyze biomass to useful oil to fuels, and can also generate energy, heat energy for industry. So biomass will not be wasted.
Okay, thank you so much. I I need to read out the next question. So the next question is, my question is, can fossil fuel be generated in the laboratory?
Yes, not fossil, where it can be generated from, I mean, it can be generated in the laboratory. We have three major theories for petroleum origin. We have abiogenic, semi-abiogenic, and we have biogenic origins. The first one, which is abiogenic origin of petroleum, it tells us that chemical reactions do take place inside the earth crust that generate petroleum hydrocarbons, and which can be done in the laboratory, which has been practicalized in the laboratory by reacting free carbon dioxide with alkali metals like sodium or potassium at very high temperature to generate acetylides. And when these acetylides react with water, it generates hydrocarbons, petroleum hydrocarbons to be precise. So, but that will be in small quantity, not in large quantity as in natural deposit.
All right, thank you. I think I got that clearly. So, moving on to the next question, it states, for pyrolysis and thermal distillation of non-biodegradable waste into industrial alternative fuel in Nigeria, what are the regulatory and compliance roadmaps? Should I recap?
Yes,
Okay. For pyrolysis and thermal distillation of non-biodegradable waste into industrial alternative fuel in Nigeria, what are the regulatory and compliance roadmaps?
parodysis is not common in Nigeria, and I don't think, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, that maybe there's a regulatory policy concerning it.
Okay, okay. All right, that's fine. So we have more questions. More questions are
Okay.
tripping in.
Hello, Progress.
Yes?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, just to add to what Prof have just said,
All
yeah,
right.
for pyrolysis at the moment is quite very low in Nigeria. Yes, there are some persons who are actually doing that, but in a very low key. Now, when you talk about the regulatory and the compliance requirement, it's just like waste management services in Nigeria. In for every waste management services you provide as a recycler, I have an operating a plant. You have a plant. You have a location where you are handling waste management or waste recycling. There are requirements you must meet up with, either with the oil and gas, where we have the NMDPRA and the NUPRC, or in the Federal Ministry of Environment (FME), where you must have a compliance certificate that has to do with you having the requisite equipment, trained personnel, and a technology that is compliant to environmental protection. They will not give you a license. We have people who are in that space. And then we also have the NESRIA. NESRIA is an enforcement agency in the federal setup, which operate under the Federal Ministry of Environment as well. And they have the right to give a permit either for plastic recycling, for metal recycling, all those packaging materials you have, people are there who are recycling it as well. Now, when it comes to pyrolysis, like those who want to turn tires to some biofuels and the rest, yes, you must have this permit from either NESRIA or from the environment for you to set up a waste recycling plant. And then you must also explain or make a presentation to these agencies to demonstrate how you are going to do this. And once they confirm from your technology and your approach that it is not going to involve environmental pollution or contamination, as after that demonstration and you have been able to at least clear their doubts, they will give you that permit. And then you can bring, and for that technology to start operating in Nigeria, you will take these agency operators, that is the officials, to where that equipment is being developed or manufactured for them to do what they call a factory acceptability test, FAT. It is after that has been confirmed that this equipment has the ability to transform this to this without endangering the environment or human health, then you'll be allowed to go in and operate. So WastePro Global Alliance can guide anyone who intends to go into this route of businesses or recycling activities. We can provide you the guidance that you need and also give you the direction as to what and what you need to put on ground before even going to apply for such. So you can reach out to us at the end of this seminar or this webinar, and then we can put you through. That comes at a cost anyway. It's a consultation. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. David, for that wonderful insight and contribution. Now, to our audience, if you're wondering where that voice came from, well, or if you're wondering who owns that voice, that is our leader and our visionary, Mr. David Idakwo. And you can clearly see that okay, the speaker is probably having a technical issue. Okay, so Mr. David, thank you so much for contributing. I really appreciate that. So please, everyone, just hold on. I need to confirm what went wrong. All right, please. You guys can keep the questions coming, okay? Because we have a lot to tackle. We have a lot of questions to actually tackle right now. Okay, the speaker is back. Professor Adebiyi is back. And please, you guys should just hold on a bit. I will attend to all the questions, or rather he will attend to them while I read them out. Welcome back, Professor. Can you hear me? Please, everyone, just hold on. Hold on. We'll rectify everything. Welcome back, Professor Adebiyi. Please, can you hear me?
Okay,
Can you hear me,
thank you,
please?
sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
I
please,
can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Please, can you
Hello?
upload the slides? Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
I can hear you.
Okay. Can you please upload the slides? To our viewers, please, just a minute. All right, please. You can keep the questions coming. You can keep on dropping your questions. I can see all of them. We'll attend to each and every one of you. All right. So if you have more questions, you need more clarity, please, this is your time. Keep dropping the questions. Hello, Prof.
Yeah,
Please, can you
Mr.
hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
I can
can.
hear
I can.
you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. There's an inscription that I should log in or sign up. I find it difficult to share my
Your screen.
slides again.
Okay.
Okay, progress. Let's go ahead with the questions
Just
while
log me
Prof
out.
set out time.
Okay.
No problem. No problem.
Okay, let me listen to the question. No problem.
All right. So please, just a minute. All right. The next question is
I'm listening to the question. Let me.
okay. The next question is, how could energy be generated via animal and plant waste?
Via animal and plant waste.
Yes.
It can be generated by decomposing. You can decompose and get fuel gas. Then you can pyrolyze it to get oil.
Okay. All right. So, moving on to the next question. In slide 32, you mentioned Horn of Africa as a region. What is this Horn of Africa?
Okay, Horn of Africa as a region. There are about 4 countries like Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, and the Djibouti. They are located close to the Red Sea. Then it's very close also to Indian Ocean and Aden Gulf of Aden. So these four countries are called the Horns of Africa as a region.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, of course, I can hear you. I can hear you. So the next question is there any
Yes.
difference between fossil fuel, biofuel, and biodiesel, and which one can be said to be more eco-friendly in terms of carbon neutrality?
Okay, fossil fuel, like I've said, these are uh, plant materials that have been acted upon by high pressure and temperature to generate crude oil or coal or natural gas. So the products are the fossil fuel, like I've mentioned. Coal, crude oil, and natural gas are the fossil fuel. Then the biofuel are the plant and animal materials that uh, I mean, the oil obtained from recent plant and animal materials. And about diesel is just one of the examples of a biofuels. We have other biofuels like ethanol and biogas, but biodiesel is an example of biofuel, which is usually obtained from edible plant and animal oil, like plant fat or like plant oil or animal fats.
All right. Thank you so much.
Are you
Thank you
with
for
me?
breaking that down.
Or should I repeat it?
Okay. Continue if you want.
I said biofuel. Biodiesel is an example of biofuel, and biodiesel is obtained from plant oil and or fat or animal fats rather. These are biodiesels. They are example of biofuels.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. So the next question, Mr. David, are you still there? Well, the next question is directed at Mr.
Very
David.
well, I'm
I'm
here.
here.
Okay. So, the question is, how can I reach out to Mr. David, the second speaker who cleared the air, or the team? And also, the same person is asking, please, can we get a recorded version of this webinar? Of course, it's there. And so, to Mr. David, the person is asking, how can he reach out to you?
Okay, how to reach out to Mr. David is very simple. We already asked that you can introduce yourself in the comment section of this webinar. For everyone who is live and who is already on the program, you can introduce yourself. Tell us where you are from, where you are watching or attending this webinar from. And then in our media circulation, in our promotion and the document we set across, that is the graphics, there are phone numbers attached that you can call. There are email addresses also attached that you can send questions to. Then you can go to our Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or is it X now, former Twitter, to drop questions or inquiry, and you'll be attended to. So there are several platforms, several routes you can go through to reach out to us. Whatever questions you have, whatever clarifications you need, you will get them once your message drops on our platforms. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. David, for clearing that. To our audience, I believe we all had him. So if you want to join our community, it's quite easy. We're on LinkedIn, we're on X, we're on WhatsApp. So it's very, very easy to reach out to us. And okay, I think there is okay. So Professor Adebiyi, okay, Mr. David, are you there?
Please go ahead. Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. So Professor Adebiyi, I think is currently encountering some technical issues. So I don't know if it's possible for you to please take on the questions on his
Go,
behalf.
go ahead. Go ahead,
All
please.
right, all
Go
right,
ahead.
all right. So the next question is renewable energy renewable energy investments require huge capital investment that state and government are pretty much unable to get involved in. How do we get government to invest in these capital projects?
Very simple answer I will give to this, if you can hear me. And the simple answer is yes. Several things that government has refused to do that individuals today are doing, even in Nigeria. We know that our government have about 3 refineries, one in Warri, one in Port Harcourt, one in Kaduna, and none is functioning. But a private individual has a massive refinery, the biggest in the world, right? I think so, at the moment. And it is by an individual called Dangote Refinery. If you say government is not willing or ready to do it, what stops you from stepping in? Now, there's what we call the public-private partnership, the PPP. We have organizations coming together to form alliance, collaborate, and do things. That can also happen. So there are a lot of routes to go through to achieve some things that we think are impossible. Already in our current world, for those who are alive today, you can bear with me and you can at least attest to the fact that there are no more impossibilities in the universe. No more. Nothing is impossible again. Whatever you thought was impossible before is now very possible. So go beyond your thoughts and think outside the box. And that which you thought cannot be done is achievable. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. David, for that contribution. Um, well, the questions will just not stop coming, and that's nice. That's nice. We're not complaining. But in the interest of time, we'll be taking one last question. Any other question you have for us, like Mr. David clearly stated, if you want to reach out to us, our team, or we are on LinkedIn rather, we are on X, we are on different social media platforms where you can reach out to us. You can drop your questions and we'll attend to you. So, not to waste time, the last question is how best can the green energy generated be integrated into the existing system for effective balancing of energy supply? This is the last question.
Okay. Yeah, I think to answer to this, in Nigeria today, we are suffering from the deficit of infrastructure. We have a lot of obsolete systems that can no longer take care of what we generate as of today. Even though in Nigeria, aside the issue of this renewable energy we're talking about, even the current megawatts being generated by generating companies or producing entities in Nigeria generating power, the existing infrastructure cannot even convey this power to where it is needed for usage, for consumption. That is a challenge. And what does it call for? It calls for the need for overhauling the system and putting in place what is current and can carry this power to where it is needed. In most developed world today, we discover that they keep changing what they have. They keep improving on what they already have existing before because they want to, maintain that stability and they want to be current with what is available and possible so that they will be able to reach the last man who need that energy. So what I will say is that the government that we have, the country in which we live, needs to think outside the box as well. They need to begin to come up with a framework that supports what is to be generated, so that the power that is being generated will not just be lying waste, but it will be integrated into the mainstream, and it will be able to get to those who need to consume that energy. So what I'm saying, in essence, is it is a continuous conversation. This engagement must continue. The government needs to do their part. The individuals in the system needs to do their part. The private entities needs to do their part. Everyone has to be part of the entire system to work at meeting at a point. Because if you generate power and it cannot get to the consumer, it's a wasted energy. It's a wasted effort. So you need to factor in that transmission and the consumer, reaching the consumer as part of the plan. That framework needs to be properly streamlined. So what am I saying here? The government has a duty, and that is why we have different ministries, different agencies, different platforms that have been set up. They are not there to be moribund. They're not there to just be working on the obsolete solution they already have in 1960s or 1950 or 1940. They are meant to work alongside with the move, with the trend, with the current realities, where you put in systems that can accommodate what is needed to reach to the very people who are in the hinterland, in the villages, in the towns, in the cities, everywhere they are, the industries and the accommodations where humans are existing. So my point here is very simple. This conversation does not end on this webinar. As you speak to people around you, you are also participating in getting this across to the people that needs to hear, and also that the government needs to begin to put in place what is required so that the renewable energy that we're talking about, as expensive as it might look, by the time it is deployed, we all will know that it is the cheapest because the raw materials required for them are very much around us. Our dump sites are full of those things. The landfills are full of those things. And if we can bring them to life and give them the enabling environment to become, the generator of energy that we require to consume in Nigeria, definitely this can work. So my point here, it is not just for you and I to just discuss here and stop. It is for us to keep the dialogue on and keep reaching out to those who must also act, the legislators, our people in government, in authority, in power. They also have a role, a major role to play, because these are very gigantic and very serious projects, and the government cannot sit aloof and then keep watching from the background. They must take the lead. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. David. You've really contributed massively to this session. Well, I want to say a huge thank you to Professor Festus Mayowa Adebiyi. Thank you so much, Professor, for sharing your time and deep knowledge with us tonight. And also to Mr. David, thank you for contributing to this. We really learned from your expertise. And as we wrap up this July edition, the biggest takeaway tonight is clear. We have the resources and the knowledge to power Africa with clean energy. Now, it is simply up to us, the professionals, the advocates, and the policymakers to put these solutions into action. Before we officially sign off, please do not let the conversation end here. Mr. David has reiterated this many times. So please, we have other platforms where you can engage with us. And lest I forget, make sure you hit the subscribe button right here on YouTube. Please, before you log off, kindly just hit the subscribe button. And also, we want you in our WhatsApp community. And if you're looking to get a copy of this presentation, the slides from Professor Adebiyi, our WhatsApp community is exactly where you need to be, right? I'll drop the slides there and then you can pick it from there. And also, I want you all to engage with our posts each time you come across them, maybe on LinkedIn, on X. Please just give us a like, a comment, it really goes a long way. Well, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Keep driving impact, and we will see you at the next session. Yes, we host this webinar every month. Last Saturday of the month is our monthly webinar. So see you all next month and have a great evening. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a good night and a happy weekend.